Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the regular open meeting of Osoyoos Town Council on Tuesday, April 14th, 2026 at 2 p.m. in council chambers. So I will ask for a motion, please, to approve the agenda. Councillor King, Councillor Bennett, all in favor? Thank you. And the adoption of some minutes, the regular open minutes for March the 24th, 2026. Councillor Chong, Councillor Bennett, all in favor. Thank you. So before we start the meeting, I'm going to turn the microphone over to Chief Cook, who has something he would like to add to the agenda. Go ahead, please.
There we go. Thank you, Madam Mayor, members of council. It's a pleasure to be here with you this afternoon. In January, the town of Osoyoos received notification that our grant application for the 2025 FireSmart Community Funding and Supports Program was successful. The success of this application allows the town, in conjunction with the Regional District of Okanagan-Similkameen, to implement a FireSmart education and home assessment program of our community and surrounding area. Funding currently covers 1 year of program expenses. As a part of this grant funding, communities such as Osoyoos are permitted to hire a dedicated and trained individual to lead FireSmart activities or initiatives. I am very pleased to announce that after a competition which attracted both local and provincial applicants, Diane Butt has accepted the position of FireSmart coordinator and will be leading our program beginning May 4th. Diane has been a resident of Osoyoos for 12 years and a member of the Osoyoos Fire Department since 2018. In addition to her recent promotion to the position of lieutenant, Diane brings a wealth of leadership experience to the role as she has managed in business and worked as a site safety representative for a local development company. Diane is a certified firefighter. She is a trained wildfire mitigation specialist, a structure protection specialist, and a wildland firefighter. Please join me in welcoming Diane to her new position as a town's FireSmart coordinator.
We welcome you for sure. All of us are very happy that you have got this position. We know what kind of work you do, how well you've done in your job with the fire department and all the other jobs you have now. So are you going to add this onto your list? You're not stepping down from the fire department, are you?
No, I'm not stepping down from the fire department.
I don't know how they would do without you because you've got your little group here supporting you. This is your little support group. Okay, well, congratulations. We're happy to see that, and I know that Osoyoos will really enjoy having a FireSmart coordinator in town. So thank you.
Can I ask a question? Just can you move forward now and ask for a request to come to the home for an inspection for a FireSmart? Anytime? Okay. Thank you.
Thanks to the crew for the support.
Yes.
Okay, so the first thing on our agenda today is the implementation of 2026 water restrictions. Mrs. Colson.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm just going to go through a very brief presentation on the current conditions that are prompting the recommendation to start with stage 2 water restrictions. There we go. The 2026 conditions that are impacting Osoyoos' water supply are below average precipitation over the winter months. Snowpack is currently sitting at 58% of normal, which is expected to result in a much reduced spring runoff. And Osoyoos Lake has been experiencing historic low water levels, as you know. Additionally, our Operational Services Department reports that the town need for water has steadily increased over the last number of years. On the graph there, I've shown just 2023 to 2025, and you can see it's just steadily increasing. Thank you to Operations for producing that graph. Stage 2, which is 2 days a week, watering restrictions are being recommended to commence May 1st in order to preserve Osoyoos's available water supply, to reduce peak demand by continuing to use staged watering in 3 zones, which includes systems 8 and 9 in the Regional District Area A, just for clarity, to ensure the availability of water resources to emergency services, and to mitigate the risk of more severe restrictions later in the season. Residents, I should say, and businesses are that are served by Osoyoos's water systems will be advised of these restrictions through various communication channels, that being the town's website, radio, Facebook, email via our e-news subscription service. The newspaper and the 2 portable highway signs have been placed in anticipation of these notices. Finally, while talking about watering restrictions, I thought it would be a good time to remind the community that you can have a great, beautiful garden and use much less water by using Xeriscape. And there's lots of good resources online to learn more about Xeriscape. So the council's recommendation today for me is to move to stage 2 watering restrictions effective May 1st. And I would be happy to answer any questions, council.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Coulson. I just want to point out that there have been numerous articles on Castanet and in the Times Chronicle on water issues and lake levels and the concerns that we've had. And I also want to say that Make Water Work, which Osoyoos won last year, the launch for this is happening in Osoyoos in May. Not quite sure of the date yet, but everybody is invited to that. And definitely the Okanagan-Similkameen Association, the lady that did the presentations for us, and several people were very interested in that. She gave us a plant last year when we won, and it was planted outside here. And so we're kind of hoping that maybe we'll get some more of those. So I think it's a very good idea. Many people up and down the valley are experiencing the droughts and the problems with hot summers and lower water levels, despite the fact that thanks to the International Lake Osoyoos Board of Control, the lake level has gone up recently, and we're hoping that that helps a little bit because it could go down just as easily. Anyway, I'm going to ask if anybody has any questions. Go ahead,
Just a
Councillor.
comment, just so people know, there's actually 3 zones in Osoyoos, and there's different water restrictions on certain days.
Yes, the picture of the zones is in here, and that will be available likely in the newspaper like they did last year, which is helpful. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. Just this always comes up every year in terms of restrictions and unidirectional flushing when we try to flush out the pipes, and of course the question comes, why am I restricting water when operation staff is flushing all this water out? So kind of just to get ahead of it, I think it would be important if we can re-highlight the reason as to why we do the flushing and why it is important, even though it is water that does get kind of flushed out. If Director Madsen could again clarify those points.
Thank you. Just specifically, you're talking about just through hydrants and whatever? Yeah, so it does 2 things primarily. One, when we're flushing, is it moves the sediment that's in the line out of the lines. And the second is, in order to test our fire hydrants, we need to do flow testing to make sure that it's available for emergency services. Those are the 2 kind of primary reasons for that. But we do need to kind of keep the water moving so it doesn't get stale and sediment doesn't build up, etc. So.
Presumably that's why you always add something into the article saying that there could be some brown water, which is exactly what it is. The sediment sitting there, it's flushed out. Yes, Councillor Appleby.
The lake level.
Yes.
You've been very active with the international group,
Yes.
and it says here that the water levels down or up or whatever. Where are they headed with this water for the this summer. Because usually we hold back water for them, for the late fall drought. And I'm just wondering if they're anticipating us going through a drought a month earlier or something.
Well, we were down as low as 909 feet above sea level, 909.1. And that's when things sort of really started to happen because the rule curve says you cannot go below 909. So that kind of got the IJC and the members of the board and Okanagan Basin Water Board, everybody involved. I just want people to know, though, that the dam operator in the dam in Penticton and at the Zozel dams do talk daily sometimes. They are very good about communicating and trying to make sure that there is enough water going through our lake, because the Okanagan in the States, Okanagan, they own some of the water on this lake. That's the rule. So we have to make sure that we all work together. And the other thing, I think, which has caused the lake level to go up a little bit recently, we haven't had water coming out of the sky to make that much difference. But the Similkameen is, while we're at a 58% of normal for water, the Similkameen is at 88%. So they have more water over there, and the river is flowing a little faster than the Okanagan. And so the Similkameen flows into the Okanagan River below the dam. So I'm pretty sure that with a little bit of coordination, all of those things have been taken into consideration to raise the level, but it's no guarantee. Everybody's anticipating, and because I'm on the board, we meet probably once a month now to have a look at the lake levels and make sure we get all the information from Environment Canada and Climate Change Canada and the BC River Forecast and all that. But whenever I see rain and I see snow, and apparently it was on the Coquihalla this weekend, I'm happy. So I can't answer the question, but they've been dealing with it for many, many, many years. This one is going to be particularly difficult, but we were not quite sure what it's going to look like. Anybody else have anything? Could somebody like to make a motion, please? Thank you. Seconded. And our water counselors vote on this one as well. So I'm looking at you, Councillor Marrera. So I will call the question. All in favor? Thank you very much. That's well done. Thank you, Jim. Okay. Next is the grant evaluation. Nope, sorry, Regional District, Okanagan-Similkameen, referral proposal amendments. So I'm assuming that is Miss Duong. Go ahead, please, Miss Duong.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have a formal presentation for this, but I just wanted to give a quick just overview of what we're looking at today. So this item relates to a referral that was received by the town from the Regional District of Okanagan-Similkameen, and it relates to proposed amendments to the South Okanagan Sub-Regional Growth Strategy, or RGS bylaw number 2770/2017. This bylaw applies to the Okanagan Valley electoral areas within the regional district, as well as the town of Oliver, the town of Vesuvius, the city of Penticton, and the district of Summerland. So for those of you that don't know, the purpose of a RGS is to guide decisions on growth, change, and development within a regional district over a 20-year horizon. There will be additional information provided by regional district staff when they come to council later this month to provide an overview of the RGS. But just high level, that's what an RGS is. But the Local Government Act requires that regional districts that have adopted an RGS, they must consider an update or whether to update the RGS at least once every 5 years. So this bylaw referral pertains to a proposed amendment to the RGS bylaw, which was actually originally initiated back in 2019 as part of their 2020 5-year review process. Now, Amendment Bylaw number 2770.02 proposes, amongst other things, which are outlined in the report, to remove the distinction between primary growth areas and rural growth areas. It also proposes to introduce new land use classifications, replace the current map schedule to reflect those new land use classifications, as well as update housing and development policies and objectives to support that change. The town is currently designated as a primary growth area under the RDOS bylaw, and if this amendment bylaw is adopted, similar to other existing primary growth areas like the other municipalities in the participating region, this would change the town's land use classification to simply growth area, which the bylaw would define as urban centers identified for existing and future urban growth and contain a full range of commercial, institutional, and industrial land uses and all of the necessary infrastructure, services, and amenities to accommodate sustainable future growth. From a staff perspective in reviewing the proposed amendments, we do of course flag that the town does have some servicing constraints, which council is aware of, which has ultimately resulted in a request being submitted to the Ministry of Housing for the extension of the small scale multi-unit housing compliance deadline. That being said, we do recognize that changing from a primary growth area to a growth area and the updates being made to those associated policies would not actually in itself place any further development pressure on the town. Now, with that in mind, we are recommending that council do support the amendment bylaw as proposed. However, of course, council does have other options available, such as providing additional comments to the regional district or not supporting the amendment bylaw as is. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Duong. This, of course, has come up at the regional district table, and all of the mentioned municipalities and areas are looking into it as well. Does anyone have any questions or concerns about this? Go ahead.
Just a little question on page 8 of the draft. There is a section that says, while the town of Osoyoos is considered a resort municipality, it is currently designated as a growth area rather than a resort area in this bylaw. What would be the main differences between that designation of being growth area versus resort area, and what was the rationale as to why we were classified as growth as opposed to resort?
Ms. Duong, can you answer that?
I will try my best. As I mentioned, we will have regional district staff presenting on the topic in a couple of weeks here at the next council meeting. So I can't get too into the nitty gritty of some of the rationale around it, but I do understand that I would say that it's very likely related to the fact that the town of Osoyoos, along with the other participating municipalities, have previously been designated as primary growth areas, and that's typically where we want to see housing and development occurring, right? The resort municipality land use classification, in my review of the materials that were provided by the regional district, it appears to apply generally to Apex, so being within electoral area I, and it's not applied to other municipalities.
Yeah, I have it underlined as well, and I was a little concerned about that. However, we are definitely a resort municipality, but we do have to have some growth here with homes. But as we know, we've applied for an extension on that because we're looking at our infrastructure. So I will, if it comes up at the regional district, or is somebody from the RDOS coming down to present to town council and at some point? Okay, good. Well, we can ask that then maybe. Okay, thank you. Ms. Duong, is there anything else? Would someone like to make a motion then, please? The recommended motion is that the RDOS be advised that the town of Osoyoos supports the proposed bylaw amendment to the South Okanagan Sub-Regional Growth Strategy. Thank you. Moved. Is there a seconder? Thank you. Councillor Bennett. All in favor? Thank you very much. Okay, next is the Grant Evaluation Committee Grant Review.
Thank you,
So-
Madam Mayor. On April the 2nd, the Grant Evaluation Committee got together to review round 2 of our grant applications for the community service grants. and also for the RMI. So just a little bit of background, the deadline for this second round was February 27th. We had 15,037 remaining in the RMI and $9,800 remaining in the community services area. The funding assistance recommended was in a balanced and equitable manner, as we have done in the past. And organizations, I just want to reiterate that, should be working towards sustainability by seeking other forms of funding. Some of the implications in our community, supporting special events, obviously, with the RMI funding. Organizational, just our involvement with the special events. We do quite a bit of that in terms of our event coordination. The budget, I said before, $9,800 for the community service grant and a little over 15,000 for the RMI funding. We did have still a balance of $1,955. Deadline was February 27th. And in terms of sustainability, what I mentioned before, the groups are expected to look at other funding for that purpose. So the options before council, that council approves the grant committee's recommendation as indicated in the report. I think there's 13 of them. That council review all applicants and make changes as required, or that council does not approve any funding at this time. I have listed the 13 recommendations. I can read through these if you want, or Mayor, you can.
The last time we did this, and we could read through them all, but they are available on the screen.
Yeah.
We decided to look at adopting all of them at once, unless there was something that needed to be removed. And I think just having a look at it myself, I don't know whether there might be anything removed, but would that be appropriate that we ask if there's anything that needs to be removed, and we could adopt them all as a whole if need be. I know that Director Davis and 3 of our councillors were on the committee, so my assumption is that they feel comfortable with this. So I will ask, is there anything, any of the 13 motions that you would like to take out and deal with separately, or could we look at all of them as a group? Yes, Councillor King.
Yeah. The committee met and we spent a couple hours reviewing this, and it's always a challenge to decide who gets what. But I'll move option 1 that were recommended from the committee, move forward.
Okay. Is there?
To clarify, when you say option 1, do you mean option like
Uh,
all like 1 to 13? Okay.
As indicated, that they approve the grant committee recommendations as indicated in the report. And it's seconded there. Now, I'm not sure that reading them all out, but is necessary. They're printed here. They're going to be put, I'm assuming, on our Facebook, on our e-news, that kind of thing. So I think you guys have all done a terrific job of look. Sorry, we had it moved and seconded. We didn't vote. We need to vote on that. All in favor? Thank you. That's carried. I think you've done a really good job of looking at this. I know it's difficult sometimes to try and balance it all. I was looking for the balance in the community services, but I see that all of the money has been used up there. There is, almost $2,000 here left over in RMI. Could that be used for or have you already considered a group sports group or something that might come up during the year? Is that what that's for, or is there other money for that?
No, there is still money in the community service grants for sports or individuals.
Okay.
For teams going to provincials. The 19 or the little less than 2,000 was left in there just in case an event did come up.
Okay.
That we could actually
Use it
have
for.
something for. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. So thank you very much for doing this. And I assume you've sent out the money already, or have you told them? You can't tell them till today. I think they'll be delighted. Okay, thank you so much on that. And next is the Marina Management Services. Is that you as well, Mr.
Yes.
Davis? Okay.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. The Marina Management Services agreement commences middle of May of 2026. And it actually was put out for an RFP. Just recently, the agreement expired in September of 2025. In terms of the background with the Desert Sunrise Marina, the RFP closed March 27th. We are recommending SunWest Investment Corporation. We didn't get many applicants, but we did get a lot of phone calls and a lot of questions in terms of what they could and could not do. It's a 3-year term with an option for 2 additional years, as it was in the past. And if council approves the intent to lease, we will place ads in the newspaper, our public posting board, and online for 2 consecutive weeks. And then at that point, we will bring back for approval. Just some implications. One of the most important things, obviously at our marina right now, is having somebody there to monitor and make sure they're a good ambassador on site. Working with the operator just for staffing purposes. The 3-year total as proposed was 32,250, which is an increase in the previous year. Significant dates, they would go from May the 15th to September the 15th for those number of years. And the sustainability and proper use of the marina, which we want to make sure we enhance, especially with somebody on site, would definitely help. So the options for council. Council authorizes the notice of intention to lease the property at the Desert Sunrise Marina located in the town of Osoyoos. And to SunWest Investment Corporation, Wake Pilot Wakeboarding for a 3-year term at a rate of $10,500 for 2026, $10,750 for 2027, and $11,000 for 2028. Option 2, that council directs administration to make changes and bring back at a later meeting, or that council does not approve the intent to lease at this time. And the recommendation is to move forward with the actual with SunWest Investments.
Thank you very much. Are they the same group that did it last year?
Yes, that is
Yeah,
correct.
it was. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Go ahead, Councillor Chong.
I just move option 1.
Thank you. Your all right.
I've got a question. The washers down there, is that the town's responsibility or the tenant?
It's the towns.
Thank you.
Okay. So we need a seconder for the motion. Thank you. Councillor Bennett had his hand up. All in favor? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
They are aware, they don't start till the 15th, but I'm assuming of May, I'm assuming they're maybe down there a little earlier. And they do know that we still have the marina closed at this point.
That is correct. Yeah.
Although they would have to talk to operations to get an update on that one.
We do. The marina usually opens April 1st for the slip holders.
Mm.
So all of our slip holders have paid and are waiting anxiously to get on board. So yes, we hope that'll happen sooner than later,
Yeah.
depending on the lake, the level of the lake for sure.
Okay, thank you. All right, next is the, and Mrs. Colson is doing the solid waste management.
Thank you, Your Worship. On March 24th, 2026, the RDOS presented the updated solid waste management plan to council. Further to that, as the RDOS finalizes the solid waste management plan and prepares to submit it to the BC Ministry of Environment and Parks for approval, they're requesting each of the member municipalities provide a council letter of endorsement to confirm their support for the draft updated plan. So the recommendation for council today is to support the plan and provide a letter of endorsement for inclusion in the submission package to the ministry, and a sample letter of what we would send as attached to this report.
Thank you very much. I was not here at the meeting when they were here, but I did go to the evening session that the group put on. So is there anyone who would like to make a motion on this issue? Councillor King? Thank you. Is there a seconder? Councillor Bennett? Any other questions, concerns? All in favor? Thank you. Okay, next is the Museum Parcel Tax Amendment Bylaw. Mrs. Keith.
Okay, the purpose of this report is to present to council the museum parcel tax amendment. A parcel tax bylaw was developed in 2013 to enable the purchase of the museum property located at 8702 Main Street. In order for the town of Osoyoos to collect the portion owing to the RDOS for this service, the RDOS requisitions the town annually and establishes the parcel tax rate to be charged. Annually, the town updates this parcel tax bylaw to ensure the rate is consistent with the rate being charged to Area A residents. The 2026 rate established for Osoyoos is $17.63. The 2025 rate established for Osoyoos was $17.40. The 2026 museum land and building acquisition debt servicing amount requisition line item is set at $73,179 as issued by the regional district. This is an increase of $2,045 from 2025.
Thank you. I had a question. I'm assuming that because this is a 20-year loan, I believe it was 20 years, that each year the amount on the taxes will be slightly lower. It'll steadily be going down. Am I correct?
That should be the case, and that is managed by the regional district.
Yes.
As they go forward.
And can you explain the debt servicing amount down there, and why has the land and building acquisition gone up? What is it's increased?
It generally would be just the actual debt servicing, so the interest rate being charged
Okay,
would have increased that, and or CPI being added to it as well.
sure. Thank you. So the motion recommended is that the amendment bylaw number 1300.10 2026 be read a first, second, and a third time. Could we have a mover and a seconder, please? Councillor King, Councillor Bennett, all in favor. Thank you very much. And Parks and Community Facilities Amendment Bylaw, Mrs. Robinson.
Thank you, Your Worship. The Parks and Community Facilities Amendment Bylaw 1278.01 2026 is being brought to council today to prohibit glassware. This was council's direction from our March 10th, 2026 meeting. And so in the bylaw, we will be adding under section 14 glassware. No person shall utilize or bring any glassware into any park or beach area. And while we were reviewing the bylaw, there were a few housekeeping items that we updated. For example, there was section 5, number or alphabet letter F, identified that dogs were not allowed in the park. So we've now updated that so that they are allowed in the parks. We are also updating the definition of parks and aligning it with the zoning bylaw and adding a definition of glassware. So our recommendation today is that the Parks and Community Facilities Amendment Bylaw 1278.01 be read a first, second, and third time.
Thank you very much. Councillor Bennett, Councillor Chong moved it. No, is there anybody have any questions? All in favor? Oh, you had a question. Go ahead.
Thank you. Could you outline the enforcement of the glassware? Like if someone is found with glassware and there's bylaw, what happens then?
So we will work on education because this is being added to the bylaw. In the second report for the municipal ticket information and the bylaw notice, we are adding a fine in there so that if people are repeat offenders or do not remove the glassware, then we are able to enforce by writing a ticket.
So, did we vote on that? We did. No. All right. So we've got it moved and seconded. All in favor? Thank you very much. And can I just mention too that I have seen on some news articles that people are concerned that there is not enough bylaw officers. Could you just mention how that issue has been talked about, Mrs. Robinson?
So currently we have, in the off season, we have 2 full-time bylaw officers that work on a rotating schedule. So they have one day that they do work the same day. Other than that, it's one bylaw officer on shift. In the summer, we do hire seasonal bylaw officers. And this year we are allocating one of those bylaw officers to be in the parks about 80% of the time. So we will have 2 bylaw officers on throughout the summer every day.
Thank you very much. I think that's important to have noticed.
Hey, just
Councillor
a
King?
question. Thank you, Madam Mayor. On the partial bylaw officers, can they give tickets out also?
Yes, all our bylaw officers can issue tickets.
Okay, thank you. We will go on to the Municipal Ticket Information Amendment Bylaw and Bylaw Notice of Enforcement Amendment Bylaw. Mrs. Robinson again.
Thank you,
Okay.
Your Worship. So before you is the Municipal Ticket Information Amendment Bylaw 127926 and Bylaw Notice Enforcement Amendment Bylaw number 1392.02. So originally this bylaw was being brought forward to update the animal care and control bylaw, as the sections have all changed and we needed to update the fines that were going to be issued if necessary. And among reviewing the bylaws, we did find some other housekeeping notices or sections that we had to update. So for example, now that we have the parks bylaw with glassware, no glassware, we now have added the fine for that. We are also updating certain sections in the bylaws that had been changed over time that hadn't been updated along the way. And we are updating under the public mortgage for power loading. We're updating the fine from $100 to $500. So our recommendation today is that for the Municipal Ticket Information Amendment Bylaw and the Bylaw Notice Enforcement Amendment Bylaw, we're looking for the first 3 readings.
Thank you very much. Council, it's moved. Is Councillor Poderica seconding? And this is both the bylaws together. Thank you. All in favor? Thank you very much. And there is a mayor and council meeting report at the end. I attended a water climate change forum workshop for 2 days in Kelowna. So could someone please make a motion to, thank you, pay me? Councillor Poderica, Councillor King, all in favor. Thank you very much. And we'll now go back to reports from the Committee of the Whole of this morning, that the moved that the Town of Vesuvius zoning amendment bylaw number 1395.12 be initiated, and it was defeated. And then there was another motion that the Town of Vesuvius zoning amendment bylaw number 1395.12 be initiated subject to the following revisions. Removal of the proposed changes pertaining to the dimensions of parking spaces. So could we have that, have a motion to accept that one, please? Councillor Chong, Councillor Bennett, all in favor. Thank you. Yes, go ahead.
I think a correction might need to be made. It was defeated, if I recall correctly, Councillor Bennett, Chong, and Poderica were opposed.
Yes.
It wasn't King.
Oh,
Yeah.
My apologies, that will be corrected.
Okay, sorry, I didn't even notice that. And so then second one from the Committee of the Whole of this morning, that the Committee of the Whole approve the amended strategic priorities chart as shown in attachment 1 by removing the advocacy of the Chamber of Commerce up into the council priorities for a direct partnership specific to Osuias. That, could I have, you're making that motion? Counselor Bennett seconding that, all in favor. Thank you. And the third one, that the Committee of the Whole recommend the council approve the infrastructure strategy as shown in attachment 2. We have Counselor Poderica, Counselor King, all in favor. Thank you very much. And now we will ask for a report from Mrs. Coulson, a CAO report.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm going to present CAO report on behalf of the Chief Administrative Officer. In community services, administration's working on several RFPs, including Sun Bowl Arena Roof, Meadowlark Playground, and the Pioneer Walkway Washroom. They're also working with the regional district's occupational health and safety contractor to review the town's procedures. At Sonora, invitations for the annual Volunteer Appreciation Luncheon have been circulated, and that will take place on May the 29th at the Watermark. Staff ran a successful spring break camp. There were 19 kids registered for the first week and 26 registered for the second week. The adult mixed slow pitch league started March 30th. There are 8 teams participating, and arena staff have done a great job of fixing the backstops in each of the diamonds. In the corporate planning and development services area, 4 freedom of information requests have been received in recent weeks, and bylaw enforcement's continue to work on parking infractions, unleashed dogs, and unsightly properties. In the communications area, they report that Facebook has had almost 15,000 views in the last 2 weeks, and the top posts were about e-scooters and the Sunny Dump opening. The e-scooter survey has had over 200 responses so far and is still open for a couple of more days if anybody's interested in having their views known on e-scooters. In the planning area, we've issued 4 new business licenses for Ogopogo Burgers and Shakes, Fugasa Restaurant, Zen Hair and Beauty Parlor, and the Fun for Rent mobile vendor at Gyro Beach. In the financial services area, staff are preparing the Q2 utilities billing to be released in early May, and a new purchase order system has been introduced across the organization to improve financial controls. In the fire department area, as we saw earlier, a fire smart coordinator has been hired for the town, and Diane Butt will be working with the regional district staff to establish a fire smart program in Osoyoos. Finally, in the operational services area, hydrant maintenance is underway involving pressure testing over the next month. Residents will see some discoloration in their water due to that. Irrigation water will be turned on tomorrow. And water levels in the lake, as we've discussed, are continuing to rise. Staff are looking at waiting until they return to the levels that they were at the end of the 2025 boating season, which we're hoping will be very soon. Users are cautioned, however, to watch for debris in the lake and unexpected shallows. The town is unable to do the boat launch repair work until we receive the authorization for the province. We want to make that distinction that the lake levels and authorization to proceed with repairs are 2 separate issues.
Thank you very much, Mrs. Coulson. Could we have a motion, please, that the CAO report be received for information? Councillor King, Councillor Poderica, all in favor. Thank you very much. And we'll now go on to council reports. Councillor Poderica.
Thank you, Your Worship. I have nothing to report, but it's been a few weeks. March 26th attended the RDOS, it's a solid waste management plan, public open house at the Sonora Center. And the following week, March 30th, attended Majority of Council, the RCMP's e-bike and e-scooter information session. Special thanks to Sergeant Beta and his staff for hosting that, as well as our town staff for helping coordinate that. It was a really good turnout. I think not maybe the audience we were hoping for in terms of the demographic, but definitely some really good questions and concerns in the community. And I look forward to seeing the results as a result of the e-scooter survey that's currently out. And that's my report.
Thank you. Councillor King.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. Attending the Accessibility and Age-Friendly Committee a couple weeks ago. We're putting our new ideas to paper, and I'm sure Mr. Davis will come back with a report next council meeting. Also attended the bike presentation. It was kind of interesting to learn the pros and cons and how fast they go. And there's two different types that go really fast. And then also was involved with the grant evaluation committee.
Thank you. Councillor Bennett.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I also attended March 30th, the Town Hall RCMP e-bike scooters. And basically, I kind of think that in the summertime, we also have a lot of tourists in town, and staying in a tourist campground over the summertime in the resort, I get where the kids are riding pretty wild, and you go talk to some of the parents and they've been drinking, and their attitude is kind of the kids are just having fun, leave it alone. And we had a golf cart flip last year and a couple people hit cars, so it's fine to try to call people in, but we also have to somehow get to the tourists, so it's not just a Soyuz thing. April 2nd, I attended the grant committee and round 2 meetings. April 7th to 10th, this is going to be a little longer report. I attended the MIBC, Municipal Insurance Association of BC conference in Vancouver with Director Keith. And there's 278 attendees from all over British Columbia. And it was very worthwhile. Found out how great our management and staff are doing, all the right things, and keeping excellent documentation as outlined by MIBC's claim adjusters. Because when there's a claim, a lot of it depends on how it's written up and what people do on a daily basis every time, so that's consistent. They discuss some local concerns with staff, financial operations, and I think between our CFO and myself, we got moved forward on some current discussions, which I'm sure Nicole will report later. Notes of interest on some of the different seminars is concerning forest fires. The average fire loss in a home is $1.5 to $2 million, because that includes the structure, contents, living out allowance, and demolition. So a lot of times we get the report that the fire department lost 4 houses or whatever, right? But if they save 5 houses, that's saving $8 to $10 million. So a lot of times we forget the good job of what they've done to save that amount of money in those people's lives. Regarding climate change, floods, wildfire, infrastructure, failures, solve problems. Part of the problem is we're trying to solve problems that are 100-year-old problem in the making, and they're complex and tough. A good example would be a arena roof. You replace it today and it's not just replacing the arena roof, but today's rules, you need stronger construction, more insulation, sometimes solar panels. So it's a lot more cost to replace today's standard. So there are grants like climate mitigation, climate adaptation, but if you're in a large center, you have more staff to be able to look for those type of specialty grants. Cyber insurance was really interesting. It was Fort St. John a few years ago. The guy walked into work at 7 a.m. and there's a phone call to the manager, and he answered it, and it was the ransom, and they're wanting $1.3 million. And basically, first thing you do is you panic, thinking that's all your records of all the people and what you've done, but there's a lot more to it. So basically, they contacted MIBC right away, and so we start shutting down the computerized. But it's more than just computer documentation; it's also our water systems, sewer systems, etc. So if all of a sudden they say we're going to shut down everything, it's more than just losing data. So basically, during Fort St. John, they're lucky they shut it down first. They got the lawyers involved to answer the demands and found out they're legitimate. They didn't do quite right, so they managed to get out of it. But now they got to back up all the lines and all the missing files, rebuild all the files. So it's a huge task. Abuse of public officials was another one, and we've all been through that one. And through the community charter, a police officer can expel from a meeting if requested by the mayor. Anyone in one community in the Lower Mainland, one person was expelled from the meeting as long as that person was mayor. And that was 15 years ago, and that person is still the mayor. So social disorder, a lot of it is legal risks, operational realities. So we see a lot of stuff happening with the social problems, and part of it, towns like Prince George, New Westminster, realizing that a lot of the social problems are downtown because that's where the social offices are. So they're starting to move the new housing out, and also the social offices, so they're available to the people. Because you move the people out of town and they have no way to get into the offices, they just keep staying around downtown, close to those offices. So a lot of the stuff in there also was some of the legal risks. So basically now they're starting to come to court, stuff like moving sites illegal, are they legal? Upheaval, squatters, can you do that? Squatters' rights, force people to move to housing, early times. And so now they're doing early times discovery as the direction of the courts. So we're not sure where that direction is going to go. In the end, I guess it was a very excellent seminar. I'd recommend sending more management staff in the future. I think that a lot of the stuff I've seen, because I was on the board before, was a different level, and you're looking at rates and stuff. But a lot of the stuff that I seen discussed would be excellent for anybody in the management team. So some of the cities are sending 2 or 3 people. So I'd make that a recommendation to our staff that we send more people in the operations. That's my report.
Thank you very much. Councillor Chong.
Mine will be significantly shorter, but thank you, Councillor Bennett. It was actually really interesting. May 30th attended the Supporting Local Physicians Recruitment Working Group, which is a joint initiative with the Town of Oliver. There's some pretty awesome updates. Town of Oliver will be managing the 2 housing units that are right beside SOGH, and those are prioritized for any medical staff that are going to be servicing the area. One really awesome point was the nursing capacity at SOGH. The hiring is actually quite good, so they don't have to rely on as many travel nurses. But of course, that can change very quickly. And although not finalized, there are medical professionals that are coming to Osoyoos. But that is all that I can really say, because we don't want to count those chickens before they hatch. And then April 2nd, attended Grant Evaluation Committee over the phone. Had to be extra quiet because we were driving to Golden and my daughter was asleep right beside me. And then in the future, so April 18th, there's the Beer and Burger fundraiser for Osoyoos Child Care Center. So there are still tickets available, lots of awesome silent auction items and games. And hope this isn't a deterrent, but I will be emceeing. So yeah, it should be fun. Yeah, exactly. Whether or not I have the answers, different question. That concludes my report.
Thank you very much. Have the 2 units in Oliver, and it's not beside SOGH, it's beside Sunnybank.
Yes.
The other close. Are they open yet? I thought by the end of March they were supposed to be
I
done.
believe they are.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yes, I'm pretty sure they are.
I'm
yeah.
glad to hear that. Okay, thank you. So I missed the last meeting, so I've got a long report today because I was at on March the 22nd, it was World Water Day, and I was at UBCO where a group of us watched a movie called All Too Clear, a movie about quagga mussels in the Great Lakes. It was absolutely fascinating. It's available on YouTube if anybody wants to watch it. So there's been the mussels originally came from Europe in the bilge water of cargo ships, and I assume that was closely after the great St. Lawrence River opened up for boats to come further inland. That's where, because it's in the Great Lakes for sure. Interesting point in the movie that in Kootenay Lake, they have added fertilizer into the same as farmers into the water, which has helped the kokanee numbers increase. Now, I don't know how that, and they didn't explain a lot of it, but I thought that was quite interesting. And there were several different ways in the Great Lakes that they were trying to see if they could get the mussels to die. Putting tarps on them, that worked, but they had to go down and it's just a small area at a time. But the best recommendation that the panel and all of this was that we keep mussels out of BC. So do not even allow watercraft into BC, and some areas have not BC yet, but quite a few areas have said, no, you're not coming in, you've got a watercraft. We don't know where, if you've got mussels, especially if you might have been at a lake which already has them. So believe me, the Okanagan Basin Water Board is really working on this, has been for many years. We're not only concerned about boats, but float planes, kayaks, hip waders, all of those kinds of things can have mussels attached to them. So it's pretty scary. We are certainly, I'm still on the board, even though I'm not the chair at the moment, but we are writing tons of letters to the federal government, the provincial government. We're trying to work out a thing with Alberta, because they're really stepping up to the plate on doing things with that. So it's really important that we don't let them into the country. That's number one. The following 2 days, I was at a Silk Water and Climate Change Forum, and it was really quite fascinating. There were 350 people there looking at how we can protect our watersheds, what we can do about, you know, groups such as loggers and miners, and how do we deal with that? How do we make decisions on protecting our watershed? We do not, in Canada, we do not wish to use herbicide to treat milfoil, but I live close to the border, and across the border, they do use herbicides. So it's, fortunately, the water flows from the north to the south, so we're okay with that. There was one lady, and I took all kinds of notes on this. Her name was Dr. Nuria. She was from Spain, and she was talking about, her topic was water scarcity and drought. And in Spain, they are living with droughts, just like we are here, but water scarcity is dealt with as a precautionary tale, where you coordinate all the departments that work to protect the water, and you manage the vulnerability and exposure, not the end hazard. And emergency management plans are agreed on before they even proceed, before they have a crisis. She was absolutely amazing, and I'm pretty sure that it's the ability to get her, not her speech, but information on it, is really, it was great. And one of the things she said is, I have it underlined here, precautionary principle. If you don't have enough information, don't do anything. And I thought, that's interesting. Don't try and say, oh, we'll fix this with this. I mean, get your work done beforehand, look at all the issues, work as a group, and then decide what works best. Anyway, it was a really interesting 2 days. I highly recommend that this group, and a lot of it was done by the Collaborative Leadership Table, where I'm a member as well, and we really appreciate it, and we hope that it will help to make the next section in dealing with the Collaborative Leadership Table easier to learn about. So I also was at the RCMP presentation on March the 30th. And I was also involved with the Festival Society with Easter Extravaganza on April the 4th. Really good turnout. 6,000 chocolate eggs were scattered on the field, and the kids picked them up just like that, of course. And there was a bike and trike, lots of interesting bikes, lots of bonnets. And I want to thank the fire department because they put on hot dogs. They always run out, and that's okay. You don't want any left over, but people said, oh, the fire truck's here, and off they went. So I didn't get a hot dog this time, but never mind. There was also, I want to thank the Rotary for doing coffee and hot chocolate and goodies. That was great. Was at the At the RDOS, I've been at a couple of meetings over the last while on, we had a transit report from the head of transit, the person who does that, and there were all kinds of questions about, from everybody at the table about why don't we increase buses and use them more often? Gas is expensive. People are using bikes, I see in many places now, more bikes than usual. And so the gentleman was very kind and he said he would look into it. So, you know, what else could he say? Okanagan Basin Water Board, in a couple of meetings with them as well, and grants have been decided to make the water quality grants, and they will be announced very soon. The Make Water Work launch is in Osoyoos, of course, because we won last year. It'll be in May sometime. And the concerns about our water schedules, they're according to the lady who is in charge of looking at it all for the valley from Okanagan Basin Water Board, says every community has a slightly different read on this and different ways of addressing their schedules. And so drought communication needs, we need to align that in the whole region is what was mainly said. And anyway, we'll be working on that for sure. The e-scooter and e-bikes that we've heard from Sergeant Beta again about that, and he has seen what's been written in the paper and on the Facebook, and so he's going to make sure that he keeps up to date on that and that people will get the right information because they did a really good job of that. Anyway, I think that's all I had for now. And I will ask for a motion to go in camera that pursuant to Section 91 of the Community Charter, part of the council meeting may be closed to the public if the subject matter being considered relates to one or more of the following. Section 91C, labor relations or other employee relations. 91J, information that is prohibited or information that if it were presented in a document would be prohibited from disclosure under Section 21 of the Freedom of Information and Protection of Privacy Act. 91K, negotiations and related discussions respecting the proposed provision of a municipal service that are at their preliminary stages and that in the view of the council could reasonably be expected to harm the interests of the municipality if they were held in public. So could I have, thank you. First, second, all in favor. Thank you very much, everybody.